Okay, mic check, mic check, mic check. Should be able to hear, see as well. The screen, Mr. Blue here, TradePhantoms.com. Welcome, welcome. Today's date is July 8th, Tuesday, 2025. Hopefully everybody had a good holiday weekend, July 4th, all that good stuff. I'll be here for about an hour, give or take. I'll go through some pre-market prep, mainly futures, options for the most part. I'll bring this up. I usually bring this up every single morning. Whoa, it's too big there. Kind of a cheat sheet document there that, if I can get it right here, there we go, good enough. That we kind of use to position ourselves, demand supply, main backdrop of the strategy, Phantoms, right? Top down multiple time frame analysis approach, right? So we got monthly, weekly, daily here. Get a couple color codes here, so you'll see a bunch of orange, yellows, and blues on my charts. Orange has to do with a monthly time frame. Yellow would have to do with a weekly time frame association, followed by last daily would be blue. Okay, so a quick little checklist that I give the members, Phantoms, right? Candlesticks, a bunch of fancy names, great location and condition or context, I should say, being most important, right? We want to be looking for these candlestick formations at demand in the context of uptrends. We also have bearish. A bunch of fancy names, location, context, condition, most important, typically in supply in the context of downtrends. And of course, the powerful liquidity map that I kind of put there to the left. This typically gets brought up at least a few times during trading sessions as we go through. Yeah. Good morning, good morning, good morning, everybody. Good morning. Cool. So we got markets all-time highs. But before I dive into that, the charts, I know that's a good juicy stuff there. Let's just take a quick field trip to, of course, some economic news that might be coming to light potentially. And as you can see, Tuesday, July 8th, not much other than in the US here. Aussie kept their rate the same, Australian dollar, that is, in Forex. Okay, got traded some Forex, love Forex. We got New Zealand coming up next. But as far as US economic news, nothing much here today. Tomorrow, noteworthy. It's tomorrow. We don't really have to worry about it today as much. We do have the FOMC meeting minutes. There we go. I'll get it out. Okay. It's a discussion record of the most recent FOMC meeting, right? So they're not going to be, it already came out. Nothing had changed, but of course, as he takes questions and things like that, he did change a couple things. He did change a couple things in his speech last event. So I'll be curious to see what kind of questions he fields today. We got Thursday unemployment claims. We got Friday pretty quiet. So kind of a light, quiet week. Of course, we have tariff deadlines too in the backdrop. That's not on this sheet here or on this website here is economic news. That's more in the backdrop of just what's going on geopolitical wise. Okay, so that's always going to be something noteworthy, as well as the tariff deadline talks and negotiations are kind of back on the table here, in the summer months here, right? So deadline is coming up. I'll get to the charts. That's good stuff here, anyways, right? So start off with the major four indexes, being got the S&P on a daily time frame to the left. I know it's hard to see. NASDAQ upper right, Dow Jones lower left, Russell 2000 bottom right. Okay, and I'll just pop open the daily time frame here of the S&P futures, and I'm just gonna save this like this. But typically, what I've been doing here, daily time frame, I've just been kind of speaking in regard to how okay, great, markets are all-time highs. Okay, long-term portfolios are up, so hopefully everybody's doing good on that forefront there. And we had this 20 pivot moving average here. I'm just on a plain vanilla kind of daily time frame right now. Not much playing here, but just a daily time frame here, just one time frame. Typically, I'll go over the monthly, the weekly, and the daily. I usually go over that when I get to the spots and the Qs, a little more cleaner than this, maybe. Okay, but just real quick while here on the daily time frame, 20 pivot moving average here. And if I kind of zoom in here, just kind of in the month, past couple of weeks, if you will. Okay, I'm just speaking about how this market's been riding this 20 pivot moving average daily time frame up, just making higher high, higher lows, higher high, higher lows, just grinding, doing its thing, pulling back, into some decent levels of demand, not even like super high quality, but just markets have been leaving footprints of levels of demand lower. So as markets pull back into it, the higher quality ones, okay, the ones with deeper pullbacks and closer to the dailies and weeklies, things like that, they've been working out pretty well, right? So we've been talking a lot about this, how we had this candle here on I think it was on Monday, June 23rd, as you can see the date here. I keep referencing that because that was a nice belt hold wide range bar open positive COG that provided the final 2 weeks, or I should say the past 2 weeks, I should say, the first one in July, holiday weekend, and the last one of June. Okay, a nice fall through up. Now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 days, give or take here, right? We had just like green bars up, 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 up. Okay, so then yesterday, of course, being day after holiday, Monday, we had a little bit of a slight gap down on the S&P futures, which is pretty rare. We don't have much gaps on the S&P futures, but we did have one from Sunday evening. From Thursday, I should say. Thursday close into Sunday's opening, right? And we had a slight gap down. And yesterday we had a bit more of a little bit of a red bar down finally, right? Now we did close below yesterday's low, pending a negative COG. Okay, futures are up. I should say flat right now. Point up slightly, 6 points or 0.10% base 0.10%, 10 basis points there. Okay, we're gonna map out our Globex high, Globex low. Okay, we have a couple levels lower, okay, to reference. And one of the things that I've been doing is always, as I've been mentioning, referencing this 20-period moving average, is I've been writing a note referencing where the closest demand zone would represent that G trap. Represent where that 20-period moving average would be at or around. So we got 61.66 down in here to 61.40. So 61.60s into 61.40 handle, okay, is where that 20-period moving average hovering over. Okay, if we were to maybe have a continuation lower, where we have a deeper pullback, follow through from yesterday, okay, we definitely want to reference that 20-period moving average going lower. But as you'll see in a moment, we have a couple of levels before to get through that would get hit before we get down into this 61.60, 61.40 handle here, right? Just because we had one down day yesterday doesn't mean that we're going to continue lower. Of course, we're gonna drop down to our smaller time frames and see kind of what's above and what's below. Mainly what's below as we get lower potentially. Okay, daily time frame on the Nasdaq, same thing. In that, okay, great, bull market, all-time highs, Nasdaq, right? And we have just making this more visible there. Delayed. 20-period moving average here, right? There goes that June 23rd bar, Monday, right? Fall through. Nasdaq pulled back a little bit. Had one day last week, I give or take. Tech was a little bit more weaker. So we had a little bit of a down day on Nasdaq one day in the past 2 weeks. Nothing too crazy there. Came down to a level of demand. Next day, green bar, takeout, red bar, fall through, new high. Yesterday, pull back down. Here's the 20-period moving average. Already got some levels mapped up below that 22 at 380 handle. That'd be the 20-period moving average. And as you can see, if I look down on the left, okay, here we have a demand zone down here as well. And you'll see a couple levels down here have been tested on the Nasdaq futures. So coming down here lower would be a better one. I have a couple notes here down at this 370 handle on the Nasdaq futures daily time frame. Okay, Russell 2000 and Dow Jones. Nothing against them, but they've been a lot more quiet, especially the Russell 2000 versus the S&P and the Nasdaq. That's where the party has mainly been. Okay, we got the Dow Jones kind of following suit somewhat as well, pushing up into a nice little new segment, higher high here. Okay, now I would typically would go over the monthly, weekly, and the daily as well. Okay, so I got a monthly here, weekly here, daily here. So as always, map out how your monthly bars have closed, how your last week is closed, albeit it was a short week. Still map out where those candles had closed. That's the second line item here on this sheet that is given to Phantoms members. Okay, map out yesterday's high, yesterday's low, last week's high, last week's low, last month's high, last month's low. Super important here. Monthly, weekly, daily. Okay, I'm going to drop down here to the smaller time frames, being here the 60-minute time frame on the upper left. We have the 30-minute time frame bottom left, followed by the 5-minute here in the middle, and have the 2-minute here on the right, just to give you the lay of the land. And one of the first things that we do is map out in futures. This is the S&P futures on a 60-minute time frame now. Is we map out our overnight high, overnight low, Globex levels, right? Just a fancy name for overnight high, overnight low. So in Thinkorswim, it kind of grays this out here for us. Okay. Before I delete this or before I move this and update this, this was last Thursday, right? Last Thursday, before the holiday, we had a Globex low, Globex high, and we just pretty much off of ding, 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 market open, we just rallied up. Okay, we just rallied up. We just got long on Friday, and that was it for the most part, or Thursday, right? So yeah, just got long. Markets just went. Now we did map out a Globex trap demand level, right? Here's the Globex low last Thursday, and we had a level of demand below that, right? Now we didn't touch that, of course. We just rallied up for the rest of the day, right? We got long, okay. But the point that I'm trying to make now is yesterday being Monday, we did kind of dip into this level right here. If you see that, okay, just before I update this, we did kind of dip into that level on Monday. It was still a kind of a Globex trap level here, right? And by the way, I'm talking about this green box here, 62.69. By this 62.58-ish, give or take, right? This green box here, demand zone. We did hit that yesterday, right? And we did hit there, and we did kind of bounce out of there. Nothing too crazy. You see that wick right there? Okay, we did kind of bounce out of there. Not, it was a decent little bounce, maybe like a 1-to-1 bounce, maybe give or take there. Okay, 1-to-1, and then inevitably got taken out. Now I did have this little 62.50 handle that confluence with the SPY and the SPX. There was a level in here as well. And we did kind of get down there as well. I just made a note of that on last Thursday, going into this week, Thursday session, and then of course what would be yesterday being Monday session. We did kind of tag into there, 62.50, even yesterday for another G trap. We kind of bounced out of there. That's yesterday's low. Okay, so you might want to reference that. Okay, we can make. I don't want to move that, but this point right here, 62.46, is a daily low. I can just take a look at this line here, represented by daily. That's yesterday's low. All right, so it could be a little bit of a liquidity sweep. We do have a level right below there as well, which I already have mapped out, 62.34-ish, right? We have a drop, base, and a rally. And again, I'm kind of going a little bit below this drop base rally right here, below the 62.40, because we could be going below this daily low 46 handle and this 62.34 handle. We could be having some potential liquidity sweeps. Okay, so there is a lot of things happening here in regard to daily lows, so on and so forth, along with levels to the left. Okay, here's kind of price levels down and left. Okay, we have a couple levels here. This is one big liquidity sweep right here. If we happen to get below this 62.25 handle down into the 62.17, right below the 62.25, okay, that's a massive liquidity sweep right here, right below this shelf. Okay, so however, this is kind of the area location. This 62.40 handle, a lot of numbers in the morning for early part of this week coming off of a holiday weekend. I get it, but this is kind of the level that's kind of holding up this upward structure on the 60-minute time frame here. I would say the daily time frame as well. All right, now remember we have the 66 and the 61.40 handle all the way down here. We lined up with the 20 period moving average. Okay, so I was making note of that down here. This is the 20 period moving average on daily. This happens to be the first time I'm back on mic after a little holiday myself, so I feel a little slower than usual. All right. After today, it'll be all good. Okay. Now I kind of referenced a couple more levels lower. Okay, lower down here. The main one being this 61.30 handle because of that 20 period moving average down there. Okay. Now I'm going to update these lines here, right? Now the new Globex low today is right here. So I kind of went ahead. We kind of rewind this. Here's the Globex high. Here. Okay. There's the highest high of the overnight session high. There's the lowest low of the overnight session. If we happen to break this Globex low of 62.54, I'll be up by a tick or two, give or take. Okay. The first level of demand is going to be, okay, potentially this 62.30s and 62.25 areas here. Okay, two levels of demand below with a ton of daily lows here. Okay, so kind of pick your poison here. Anything that would qualify would have to be below the 62.54 handle. Okay, so you're looking at the 46 down into the 34, down into the 20. I'll call it the 25.24. Okay, just quoting the last two digits there. Okay, not the ticks, but the points, 62.25 into the 62.45 area here. Okay, this one right here might be a little decent one here this morning. Again, I'm just referencing that 34. For the liquidity sweep, okay, because as you can see, the markets like to flush lower, okay, then grind higher, right? They flush lower, Okay, grind higher. We had a little talk about that on Thursday before the holiday. Too early right now. Too early right now. Okay. So I could potentially, sometimes what I'll do is I'll just delete the lines. Okay. I'll keep the box there. So you see how kind of like past levels have kind of like worked or not, right? Bounce out of here, inevitably fell through. Okay. Now got some updation for today. Now I will say, since this market doesn't need, this market's been up pretty much, kind of went vertical. If you look at the charts over the past couple, let's say, couple days, couple weeks. If you take out yesterday's pullback, right, just on that one day, it wasn't like a major weekly pullback or what have you, but we've been up. So markets, of course, do need to digress and pull back. Can't go up forever. So here's a Globex high. Do we have a level of supply above the Globex high? And of course, the answer would be yes, right? So we can't just ignore that. However, I will say, here's where we have, here's the all-time high. All right, of course. Now, be careful. Now, it's very hard to short all-time highs because, yes, it's obvious now that, okay, there's a supply level there because we kind of pulled back, okay? But as we kind of get close into it, like if these levels do get taken up, we go higher, it can easily just pop out a new high. So it's very difficult to place your stop loss kind of up here right above the all-time high because it's very easy just to get stopped out. Even if you put it 5 points above, okay, they can, this thing could make a 20-point high like nothing, no big deal, okay, and just get stopped up. So it's very hard to place a stop loss when you're shorting at an all-time high. You'd have to have the all-time high just work out, okay? And it could, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that has never worked ever in trading and investing, okay? But it's a very difficult trade to do as we potentially get back up into this point here, okay? Markets will typically just probability would have it, okay? We're in a probability-based business. That's just going to pop out a new high, okay? And even if you put your stop loss a couple points higher above that, you could just be, okay, great. We just get stopped out. They just hunt for that, right? They're just going to go higher. So be careful with that. But, I'd be remiss not to mention 63.33 in S&P futures. Okay, it's going to be the all-time high there. We do have another level of supply here as well. We have to be extremely careful with this level. Here's where we first had this drop, basing in a drop right here. Okay, as you can see, we kind of tested it right here. So this is the first tag here. Here's current price, right? So I'm looking up and left, right? So we have this level, but this has been tested. Right there, if you can see that ellipse behind that, right? Drop, base, drop. Okay, I'll reference this, but be careful. Comes in at about what, 63, call it 12 handle. Captain Condor is back here today. 6140. Damn, he has 6140. He's way down there, huh? Joe Frank with Captain Condor out. It's taking too much time. Good enough there. All right. So yeah, that's that. Okay, we have a drop base drop in here too as well. Be careful with this one. Again, bull market, so this thing could easily swipe or just kind of like grind it through these aggressive levels. Okay. So I'm not going to put a price on that. Kind of get a little more extreme. Could be a liquidity sweep right above this 63.20 handle as well. So you might want to put a note on that as well for today's session. I could easily see a case here today where S&P futures kind of park into a new high at if we do happen to rally, that is, putting a high of 63.25, coming off a holiday weekend here. Trying to regain the brain cells that were lost over the weekend. 63.25. All right, NASDAQ futures. I'll do this one quicker. That crazy, I don't delete much things here. That level, that sneaky little level was for yesterday. Worked out beaut. Creepy. Globex high. Here. Globex low. Here. Institutional level of supply. Oh, I'm sorry. Demand below the Globex low. Okay. I still have this 22727. 22,727. Boom. Okay. I'm going to drop to a 30-minute time frame just so y'all can see a bit. Well, you can't even see it much there. There's a little bit of a structure here. Okay. 22,727. I have to drop to a smaller time frame so y'all can see that in a moment. Okay. Also have 22,650 followed by the call it the 22,600 handle, give or take down in here. Okay. These are just some levels below the Globex low that if NASDAQ were to break the Globex low, could trap some bearish traders that are coming into this level. Okay. So I kind of just zoomed in. Okay. So y'all can see, hopefully y'all can see a little bit better. Don't get lost in the transition of time frames here, but we have an impulse basing impulse. This level was developed. If you look at the data up here, okay, 7/2/2025, 10 a.m. give or take. Okay, so that's July 2nd. Okay, 10 a.m. We have an impulse basing and then a massive rally here. Okay, that comes in at that 22,725 handle. Okay, there's a nice little rally right here too. Okay, right off the open, there goes the 650 handle, followed by the 600 even here. Okay, so we got 725, 650. Okay, 600. Okay, quoting just the last 300. The last hundredths points. Okay, put a 22,000 in front of that. All right, decent little levels here for some G-trap longs. All right, decent. Hopefully y'all got some idea where that potentially is located. Now, if I go to the same thing here and I look for a level of supply, and I go live on Wednesdays and Fridays for Phantoms. Live trade room. And I do some YouTube and social media on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Mr. Green also does some live trades in the live trade room. Mr. Green, I could steal this line here. Again, all-time high, pretty simple there. Be careful with that, right? We already had a little TED Talk on that. All right, little baby supply right there. Again, aggressive, been tested, right? His drop base, nice little drop there. It didn't make out a new low, but this whole segment here did make a small little new low on the 30 and 6-minute time frame, but that's a very small time frame. Okay, monthly, weekly, dailies still super healthy up. Yes, of course, there's going to be a bigger pullback imminent at some point. Mondays, I think we're starting that off on the 14th. The blue-green pod. I think we're kicking that off. Mr. Green and I are kicking that off next week on Mondays. Oh, it'll be interesting. We'll see. All right, so there's kind of the lay of the land of NASDAQ. Pretty decent gold futures. Gold has been pretty quiet and rangy. It's been a raging bull for Q1, quarter one, that is, January, February, March, April, May, June, if you will, which is typically seasonality-wise not such a strong period for gold. That is the second Q2, which is April, May, June. Typically not as strong. Typically as what it usually is seasonality-wise as what it is in the beginning, in the end of the year, right? I know it's hard to see here, monthly, weekly, daily. but very rangy, right? Past 2 months have been kind of doji bar closes here. If you look at your charts, potentially this lower weekly 20-pip moving average here that I've been talking about on the weekly time frame down here, called the 3,200 in gold futures, has still been an area that I've been kind of almost like waiting for in this lower range. If I go to GLD just really briefly here, this is gold, by the way, going over gold. Just go to the GLD chart just really briefly, just so y'all can see a little bit more cleaner bit, maybe. I got a weekly on the left, I got a daily on the right. And if I'm looking at just the weekly time frame here to the left, I know there's a lot of notes here. These are all where it's just selling puts, getting bullish gold, getting bullish gold for the team and I. However, getting here to the more recent times here, weekly time frame, impulse correction, impulse correction, impulse. This is a correctional wave. This was the impulsion, created a equal to high correctional wave here. Now we're trying to go on another bit of an impulse. This is a higher low right now, but we don't know if that is going to be a higher low because we would need a higher high for this to really kind of iron out for the chart. Right now, this could be right. We had a deeper discussion on this. This could be the pivot that is the higher low. Okay, but again, which could provide a potential new higher high here. So gold needs some juice, some power to potentially make into that higher high. However, be careful here because I'm getting a lot of conditions or signals that let me know that gold is a little bit more rangy, still continuing a range. So what I'm saying here too is this is a weekly time frame. Okay, this is the level of control. This is May low. We could also potentially not make a new high. We could kind of base, retest this low range again. Okay, I got this May low. Here's June's low here. I got a June low here for potential liquidity sweep right below this segment here. And I also have a May low right here, monthly low, which is, I know a ton of stop losses and things of that nature built up right below here. Okay, so kind of expecting potentially kind of plan B. We kind of talked about it. Will they sweep the June low potentially to build some liquidity for to potentially take it higher? If this gets taken out and closed below here at some point in the daily time frames, okay, we could go lower into the range on the weeklies, and they could swipe for liquidity below the May low range entry sweep down here below the monthlies and weeklies. That was kind of a plan A. So like plan A, plan B. Okay, you saw some puts down here on down days, so on and so forth. Okay, so on a GLD price points, 300 is a major hit point there. Swipe a bit below that, below June's low. Okay, 298s, maybe get some people to get trapped short. Okay, get fill longs. Okay, grab some liquidity, right? Take out some stop losses on longs already. Stop losses right below here, right? Liquidity sweep, and then take it higher. Okay, if we go lower in the range, we're probably going to be sifting out that May low as well. So 299 hit point, 298. And then we also have May low to call 290. Okay, right below that May low at 291. Okay, that was the weekly time frame. So again, just be careful with gold right now, because it's kind of in the middle of a impulse correction, trying to sift out this impulse, but not a lot of power right now. So a little bit rangy, getting a little rangy on the daily. So just know where you are on the higher time frames, where you are on the conditions. So yeah, we could potentially go lower. Now, if I go back to the futures 60-minute time frame here, I got a weekly here on the GLD. I got a daily here. I was looking at gold monthly, weekly, daily here. That was futures. And then I'm on a 60-minute time frame here. Globex high, Globex low. Here's our Globex low. Here's our Globex high for today. So you see gold's been pretty quiet. And we have some levels here, kind of dipped in, right? Had another level down here. You see how we kind of dipped in here. These are prior G traps. Not bad. Now, if we were to go lower here, we could test this level again, potentially 3310, call it. Okay. Anyway, I have 3290 down here as well. This would be a bit aggressive, mid-range. Supposed to be aggressive. As it's already been tested multiple times. The 3310, that is. Impulse basing, impulse right here, right? Previous G-trap low, long, right? So we can reference that. And we also have this 3290. Leaning more bullish GLD, but we're in the middle of the range. We could swipe lower. So this is what I'm talking about down in here. This is the bigger weekly lower range down in here. Okay, you can see they've already swiped below some monthly lows. So this is that monthly low that I've been referencing here on GLD in the weeklies and monthlies. All right, so I do this whole top-down analysis approach. No time for that right now. But for day trade wise, we got these 3310s and we got the 3290s here. All right, those could be potentially in play today for G-Trap long. Now, I did mention that gold itself is, leaning upward, right? Monthly, weekly, daily still up. It's slowed down a bit on its uptrend, more rangy for Q2 past 3 months. So this is still going short, would still be counter trend. But if we did break the Globex high, which is right here represented by that blue line right here, we do have a couple levels of supply here. Now, this one has been tested a couple times, so I want to be a little bit more cautious on this one here, because this is the origination of the supply zone. We have a base drop right here. All right, so if I move this over, okay, you can see, well, we touched that once, we touched that twice, we touched that 3 times, 4 times almost, right? You can see they already kind of poked the tide a little bit above here. So if we get back up here again, this level could potentially hold, but be careful, okay, because the more times that a level has been hit, okay, the more, or I should say the less reliable it becomes, because the supply and demand equation, the supply and demand buyers and sellers are dropping away, right? Absorption or demand or supply. All right, heavy topic too early right now. But if we were happy to go lower, this level has been tested again up here too. We have level tested. So levels of supply above gold are not high quality. Okay, so if we do happen to get some bulls and some rally up, there's not a lot of bears that are going to be able to hold these prices down for these not so great supply zones. Now, if we don't happen to get up here, we go lower first. Okay, and then we pick up more demand, like lower down here, and then we start to take out these levels up here. Okay, or break out from these areas here. This could really get taken out. All right, so it looks like gold might want to be sifting out some lower pricing to pick up some more liquidity potentially before going higher. Okay, but we do have a couple levels above here for G traps. Okay, super aggressive. Okay, these are super aggressive. All right, definitely want to potentially wait for some confirmation, if you will. 33.75 handle, and this level up here. 34.05 handle. All right. Next, VIX. VIX up, market down, VIX down, market up. Damn, 6 minutes before open already. Inverse correlation. So far, we got VIX down about 4%. You can see yesterday we gapped up on said VIX. We mapped this out on the high time frames and the small time frames as well. So the overnight high, overnight low in VIX is, drum roll, overnight high here. Overnight low. And VIX takes out its overnight high and continues higher. That could be a bit more, kind of just bearish for the market potentially for the day. Kind of just pin where it is as I last saw it. And then if we take out this low and remain below its low, that could be a bit more bullish. Intraday wise, give or take, right? Inverse correlation, opposite, right? VIX, very important to understand. We got 4 minutes before open, SPYs. Weekly on the left, daily on the right. Massive rally over the past 2 weeks. Right, close. We got down yesterday. Went, of course, just went lower. Close here. Slight gap up here this morning. Nothing too crazy. Nothing too crazy at all. Inside gap. All right, positive 0.13%. Nothing to even write home about at all. 0% plot open on SPX, give or take 62.35-ish handle. 62.35. I say that to say this. $62.35. We got Captain Condor back. He's up here. I can already just see him on the OD. 62.60 handle down into the 61.90. So he's playing about a 70-point range. We're going to be moving. We're going to be in. So we're in the middle of that. Interesting. Before we get, we have negative gaps between the 40 and the 50 handle as we kind of approach the sold option for the Captain Condor at the 60 handle. We also have a lower level of gaps at the 62.10 and 6200 as we lower below before we get to the 61.90 sold put option on Captain Condor. So pretty interesting. Light GEX above and below a little bit, but we have some positive gamma above and below. He's creating positive gamma here. All right, so I'm looking at these little red, lighter yellows, these little light reds here, light red here, yellow here. That's a negative GEX before we approach his the Captain Condor's spread here and spread here. So interesting. We're opening up kind of in the middle of that. So what does that mean in English? If we do get a little bit of some legs and we start to get some bids higher and go higher, it could sift through up through the 40 into the 50, 55 handle quite easily in this negative GEX. If we catch offers and we go lower and we get below the 20 and we get into this 10, 6210s down into 6200s and a little bit lower, that called the 6195. Okay, we can get some legs there too, as we have negative GEX a little bit below there as well. Okay, so you need to know options, and that's a heavy topic. That's super advanced. We talk a lot about this. I have a whole sessions on this with Phantoms members. But if you know, you know. But pretty interesting there. It'll be interesting to see how that kind of pans out for today. Qs. A little bit more stronger. Slight gap up today. Still inside gap. 0.24. Nothing too crazy. Apple here, weekly time frame. Now Apple created a massive. It's been in a massive range. It poked above its May high really briefly, and did a bit of a fakey bar here. So I'm sure there might be some bull traps or people who are trapped bullish on Apple on that May high breakout there. So that's a bit of a fakey breaky here. If I were to take this, location is key, right? Monthly highs, condition, range. Apple for many weeks. Apple had a nice last week. Bullet took out May's high and slammed lower. So fakey breaky there. So pretty heavy there. Don't have enough time to go through all this, so I have to switch this to a daily and put this on a 2. So now I got daily on the left, 2 on the right. We just opened. Get some quick internals. Advanced declines, positive 390, nothing too extreme at all. We see wide range bar of open. Tesla. Tesla came down. I kind of wish this thing got lower down closer to the weeklies and monthlies yesterday. Tesla right off the open has wide range bar. We'll see if that closes like that on the 2-minute time frame. Trading below the 200 or on the 200. Monthly, weekly, daily. This would be so much better if Tesla was at the 280 handle down there, low range, or lower on its range. Tesla's slightly interesting here. Already has fall through on its wide range bar. We'll put on the 2-minute time frame, that is. Let me just check one thing. A lot of the other tickers, Lily, a lot of the other Fang, Magnificent 7 has wide range bar, red bar off open. If any of the Phantoms are along that Carvana swing trade, that thing's going good. Carvana day trade today even is in play. Carvana. JP Morgan on a deeper pullback. Wanted to check one thing on Tesla. Wanted to see how much of a squeeze could potentially be here. Market's a little heavy. Come on, man. $305. Tesla above 305 could be a bit of a squeeze. Markets are a bit heavy. $305 is a squeeze on Tessie. It's respecting. So I'm fixing long call Tesla here, day trade. Not the greatest setup in the world here. It'd be better if it was lower on the monthly and weekly location for this. And markets are really heavy, so you got to be extremely careful with this trade. We're going to VWAP test right now, so let's see. Do July 11th expiration. I'll give you some risk before this. So 305 has a potential squeeze. So if I maybe do like a 30 delta or 27 delta, give or take, maybe the 307 half or the 310 strike call. See, like, so for example, the 307 strike going for about 330 right now. Just over here. And this might be getting violated right now, so I didn't pull the trigger on this yet. Wait. Meta looking a little decent here. All right, so this is the 307 half strike call. I'm going for about $3 right now. Want to be a little more patient on this, but I have this pinned. Okay, ready to go potentially. Okay, but right now it's getting violated. Those Uber swings are going good. Meta. So I don't like that bar. That bar that just got put in there for the Bulls. Let me see. Odd open. Odd open. Broadcom AVGO. Tesla actually turned into a bull trap, which I was cautious about there. It's upper 200 there. So I'm gonna actually switch here. I didn't even pull the trigger on that. So if I do the 290, maybe 287 half, same thing. It's like a 30 delta. These are going for about 340. So it would be a Tesla put. SPYs are a bit heavy. Let's see. So this is the 287.5 strike put on Tesla. All right, going for about 320. If you want to risk about $1 here, 320 to 220, give or take. Not bad here. All right. It kind of turned into a slight bit of a bull trap, just a small one. But conditions are pretty choppy a little bit here, so be a little patient on. Be a little careful on this one still here. And monthly, weekly, daily on Tesla has been a little. It's been inside week. So inside month, inside day, inside week. So be a little cautious on this. But coming off the 20 on the 30, below it on the 60. It's not 100% line, but we can maybe take a low risk here. SPY's trying to take over its VWAP there. Interesting. So about $1 of risk on this. Buck risk. So Tesla long put 87 half. I'm just going to put a stop loss on this. So it's got filled there. I'm just going to put a stop loss on this at below this area here. Premium, call it 219-ish. The put premium chart. Uber is flying. Actually, stop loss is at the premium here, 219. SPY's just put in a positive CRG here. VIX on lows. Advanced decline creeping higher. Everything's kind of doing its own thing today. Kind of odd. On Mega Cap. Carvana, Uber swings, going good. AMD. AMD, I'm on a mean revert. You get the mean revert. I'm gonna swing trade on AMD from up here from monthlies. We got a mean revert, so hopefully I should have took some good rounds of profit taking here. For a day trade, I'm not gonna touch it because of where we are located on it. But yeah, I got a 130 put, got a 125 put, and they're still help decently in profit. Yesterday I made a new low, so hopefully I'll distributed some more. We had planned this whole thing like multiple times on AMD. So you got the mean revert. So just protect. Stop loss should be at break even now. Okay, and then go into for the swing in regard to the swing, and hopefully I'm hoping anybody who took this within Phantoms because we spent time. We had a little inside joke where it's like, did I cover AMD? All right, people are gonna continue to ask me about AMD, right? A little silly joke, whatever, corny. And these, I'm hoping that y'all are taking some profits diligently on when we get equal to new lows, right? Yesterday was a profit take day in AMD from the mean reversion, which is not an easy trade. Damn, SPY's just clipped out a new high on me without me on board, which XM strong mid location on the monthlies. Ooh, putting in a little bit of a. This is a decent formation. If this could, now, oil sector has been annoying, but nah, yeah, CK smoke. It was just a little small. So that has to be like one of the most typed in tickers everywhere. AMD. Decent little formation there, not a like rising 3 met, but this would be interesting here off the 200 PM moving average in the middle of the range. So that's one thing you have to be careful with here. But even for kind of like a swing trade, this might be decent. Not the greatest day trade. Definitely followed through here today. Bother COG here. On XMM spies. I'm missing some easy cash and spies at the moment. Coming out of the buy zone on the 16 to 30. Pause COG. There's an easy spy trade that I'm missing here, talking about a swing trade in AMD. So, gotta get the day trade in first and explain later, right? I should be TPing spies right now because it's an equal to high, gunning a new high, right? Off that positive COG. Oops. So this was an easy bar setup right there. I don't have opinions, but I already covered the I trade the setups, but I already kind of went over the G traps and all that. I start that off every morning. But markets are all-time highs, folks. All-time highs. Uptrend, bullish uptrend. Look for G traps. Look for bullish G traps below Globex low. Look for demand zones. These. I mean, are we at demand like right now? I mean, we are, but it's all kind of weird, kind of crappy demand inside of the Globex high and the Globex low. So we kind of need some more liquidity here. Push higher or lower here. Right now, markets on the SPY, the cash, right? Just try to set up a positive COG on the small time frames. Very odd session. So off the open, we just popped a little bit, but we did not really take much out in regard to futures. Odd morning. Hold your cards tight, folks. We will falter lower. Well, we're coming off all-time highs. One-day pullback, kind of in the middle of yesterday's range. So, who's gonna just take control for the day here today? Bulls or bears? XOM fall through beautifully. Tesla flirting with its VWAP. Kind of all over the place there. Looks like it wants to revert back down. Could we got a VWAP test here? This is my chance to front side in here. So I'm going to get long. Do a front side entry long spies. Trading 61.5. If I pick up the 61 strike call, that's going for about $1.34. Let me give you some risk on this first. This is the 621 strike call on SPYs, going for about $1.34. We could risk about 30-40 cents here on this play off of VWAP. All right, long call, 621 SPYs strike. Today's expiration, no big deal. Everyone thought the bull market was over in April. Matthew, so real, yeah. That's why you can't get so wrapped up in the news and things like that. I'll have you thinking the world's ending and let's build up some fear, but don't take action. But a long call here, SPYs. All right, give or take. And again, stop loss on this. This is the 621 strike call, 0 DTE on SPYs. I'm going to put that stop loss a couple ticks below this 99 handle. Stop loss 97 cents here on the premium, that is. So we'll see if VWAP gets taken out. TPs would be up here, right? Now, somebody's mentioning it looks like it wants to fade lower, which it could, right? Don't get me wrong, right? But just be careful with that. This is a positive COG above daily VWAP, above weekly VWAP, above monthly VWAP, above this week's VWAP, which is just yesterday, last week's VWAP here. Just be careful. I don't trade with opinions. I trade a particular setup. This is a positive. It's not even the greatest positive COG here. I missed this one here for the nice little pump. This should be a reload ad. All right, but we'll see. All right, and if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Right, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I gotta follow the rules and the tape. Right? I just can't look at it and say, hey, it looks like it might do this, or it looks like it might do that. Right? Got my stop loss in place, manage risk, and you can even see Tesla looking like, did Tesla get stopped out? Is Tesla about to get stopped out here? Let's see. Not quite, but hanging on by a thread here. So you can see I bought these at 3, right? They're going for 255, so I'm down, 45 cents? Right, got stop loss at 219 premium, and that's it. And so you can see like Tesla is just not even really doing that much, right? So stop loss is a little bit more higher up here on Tesla just based on the premium. And right now we're still in opening day's range on Tesla. So this is why I don't like to make, I got my risk managed and I don't like to make bullish, bearish, going up, down, up, down, up, down. If we're still inside of opening day's range, above, below its VWAP already a couple times here today on Tesla, right? All right, so my reason to be in has not been violated just yet. Very odd open. We got VIX on lows. Market's kind of struggling on its VWAP a little bit there. Advanced declines up. Nothing extreme today. Market's coming off holiday, right? Kind of vibe-ish. Amazon has a little bit fall through lower. Throw a view up on this. Super odd opening at the moment. Fang's getting a little heavier. So SPY's got stopped up. Y'all see that? All right, so you get clipped out of this. Man, what an odd open, y'all. Yeah, ES still inside the opening day's range. So, and you got things that were trying to follow through in the morning, giving back, and you got things that were everything's kind of going the opposite of the morning. Google's the one that's kind of following through the most, just meaning down. We could potentially try this wide range bar, belt hold bar below VWAP on daily and weekly VWAP. This week's VWAP here, today's VWAP. So you try to flip short on that wide range bar. So we have something to lean against on SPYs. If I just pick up, like, say, the 620 for a buck, let me get some risk there for you folks first. Hold on. Wait a minute. You gotta be careful playing the long, short, long, short, long, short game here. That wide range bar off open pretty decent. So if you want to risk about maybe 65 cents, give or take here. This is the bought put 620 strike, slightly out of the money. All right. I'll work off that, just so you like no emotion. If it has a setup the other way, you stop yourself out, right? Violated. I don't like to flip just quickly like that. I want to make sure it's a valid flip, right? I want to make sure that it's a valid flip. It still has not so many great things going for it as much, right? Follow through, put, slight gap down, start off this week, right? Below this daily VWAP, but we got some monthlies still kind of hanging out here, albeit we just started the month a short week ago, right? So, anyways, that over there, just got long put, flip, day trade, right? VIX being on low is a little sketchy, but I've been kind of saying for past 30 minutes, give or take, since the market's been open, kind of an odd open, right? So you want to be careful. You'd be completely okay if you kind of sat this one out, because it's just not. It's not. All right, folks. Just remember, you put your stop loss. Typically, where I'm going to put it here, because I'm playing that wide range bar here, right? So that's the reason to be in. So if that gets violated there, right? 60 cents would be my loss, or 60 cents on the premium would be my loss, and then I bought this 101 here, got it for like 99 cents in the other account there, no big deal. And then we got stop loss here, 60 cents on premium. All right, now we can already take profit on some here, right? We need more than that, right? But it's not what we need, but what the market is going to do. But for the prior loss we just took on SPYs, and for risk-reward ratio purposes, etc., we'll see if we get some more falter on this. But the only thing we can do is see, again, it's not the greatest setup here. Just make sure you have some limits, out in case we flush lower. So we're going to limit it here at the 135 premium here. It's the limit, right? I mean, yeah, we're dropping out a little bit here from, here's a Globex high, Globex low, overnight session, just kind of grindy. We're kind of dropping out a little bit from the high of Globex area-ish. But it's a deeper concept that you'd need more time to understand. But markets are always want to go to sift out liquidity. So even though we're dropping right now, could this market just find a bid? VIX being on lows, could this right in market being a bull market overall? This market could just find a bid at some crappy area demand inside of Globex high, Globex low, putting a bid, get back above VWAP and crank higher. Right now, I'm not saying, and I'm short right now on a position, right? So even me shorting this, even me shorting just because we get some momentum failure on the upside, wide range bar, VWAP snap lower, right? Then on daily VWAP, that is, right? Remember, we're still kind of above or trading on monthly VWAP for July, and then we're above last week's VWAP as well. So again, not when you say confluence, you want to have confluence with multiple time frame confluence. We don't have that right now because if I'm shorting, we're still up above a lot of things on the monthly time frame, right, and the weekly time frame, and that matters, and that's why you get these like we could get a flush. Don't get me wrong, right? Like yesterday, we kind of like flushed out a little bit lower. VIX was higher, right? We kind of moved down, but you can see, we come down to some demand. We pop up, and we haven't really broken any structure, right? So that's we haven't really broken any structure. Like I'm on a 60-minute time frame. Okay, this is the final kind of impulsion move, higher high here, right? So you have impulse correction, impulse correction, impulse correction, impulse correction, major impulse, right? And this is the correction right here. So this is the major impulse. If I were to put a line on that to illustrate that. And so all of this is all still the correctional, all of this, if you will, is still all of the corrective wave, right? Came in here, this demand popped out a little bit, could not fail to make a new high, all right? But markets needed to pull back a little bit more deeper, right? So it came lower down to this level here, right? Popped up a little bit here. So this is the level of control right here, basically the 6230, right? The 6230 with some daily low liquidity sweep. So like I said, we could flush out, right? And I'm short positioned for that if we do happen to flush out. But what if we don't flush out? We base, start to reclaim daily VWAP, that white dash line here, okay? This could easily, go back up. You know what I'm saying? I would have to get stopped out. Oops, I have to get stopped out of the short. I'm going to TP a little bit of one on short, right? But very rangy right now. When I'm still inside of the Globex high, Globex low, and we're still kind of deviating a little bit above and below. Well, now a little bit below it. The opening day's range on SPYs, Qs, and SPX. You got to trend a little lightly, right? Tread a little lightly on it. So. Not much to say there. We're just in the middle of the Globex range there. But even if this Globex low gets taken out and yesterday's low gets taken out, the 62.34 handle, give or take, right down in here with the 24.25 handle, 62 that is, 25 here. There's a lot of stuff right here. All right, so this is the level in control, is what we called it in Phantoms. All right. Yep, so Amazon's putting in a bearish, not closed yet, but looking like it's going to be a negative CRG bar here. There's last month's low on Amazon. Got unfilled gap here. So Amazon, watch out for this weekly sweep right below here. So is Amazon looking bullish or bearish overall in the higher time frames? Bullish, right? Monthly, weekly, daily. Day trading is annoying today. Of course, all-time high in Amazon here. Ooh. If we do happen to break back above daily and weekly VWAP on SPX and SPOTs, we could have a negative GEX regime where prices could potentially flush a little higher. Right now, we're on the edge of that at the moment. So this is a inflection point here. Interesting. Over the next 12 minutes to close this 30-minute candle right here. If this is a hammer bar, and we pray if this is a green, if this turns back green bar hammer over the next 12 minutes, and we trade back above that, meaning that we most likely be above daily in this weekly, this blue and this yellow line. This is why I color code everything, folks, right? So it's like, okay, great. You know that's a weekly VWAP because it's yellow. Okay, you know that's a daily VWAP today, right? It's anchored from today and it's blue, right? And then, this month's VWAP of July because it's orange. So I color code things, right? So I can see really quickly. Point being is that 12 minutes we have this close now. there's still no reason for me to get out of this bull put trade, right? Because we haven't closed above. We haven't taken out its weekly and daily VWAP. So in a parallel universe, we need to be trading above here, right? Now that could be happening later, late morning. Right, and that's like basically SPX. If we get above where are we, call it the 3230 handle on SPX. Boom, right there, daily view up. In fact, let's what is this? Since we drove a little lower on the SPY, we didn't make a new low, but it really didn't even make a equal to. We didn't make a new low or an equal to low, but you know, that did. We should have reduced some exposure there on that little baby drop right here. We'll see if we get some continuation there, but negative Gex above. Be patient. Still remaining short, and up here, basically just above daily VWAP. I'd make a note. Negative Gex. Now negative Gex price moves through negative Gex. It's wacky today. Now SPYs are on lows. SPYs are at around lows. We got Tesla. It's weird today for day trading, folks. I'm just gonna let y'all know that. Bull market fade lower, always tougher to trade. The pullback sequences and overall indexes. As you grow as a trader, it's not just about, you know, it's about levels and things like that, but it's also about the overall market context, etc. This is a big market. So anyways, I'm talking to myself here. But as you get more experience, you'll kind of know what I'm talking about. Bull market fade pullbacks are tougher condition to trade. And Tesla is officially about to just get clipped out here. Ready? Not yet, but it's about to get clipped out. Saved by a penny right there, but it's going to get clipped out. So negative Gex here. What that means is that, you know, price could slice price tends to slice through negative gamma regimes. I should say negative gamma here. Faster. But not setting up yet, right? Not setting up yet. So it's still remaining short right now. No reason to get out. And what should we be doing right now? Wow, I can't believe I got saved by a penny right there on Tesla, but it's probably going to get stopped out. But what we should be doing right now is reduce on SPYs. We got equal to low. So of course we want more, but it's not about what we want. We have to execute. So as I speak right now, SPYs are about a couple of ticks off of its lows, potentially making a new low. So I'm going to TP some more here. Okay, doink, doink. All right. All right, now did the market? Good job. Now we have a new low. TP. All right, TP. Take a little more out here. This is not a TP. This is a limit. All right. Now, what I was going to say here, real briefly, just making sure I'm doing this live, so I want to make sure I'm doing my thing here, right? So we just TP'd, right? More. So the blues are buys, the red are sells, right? Just sell the ender. Now check this out. Now, albeit today kind of a funky day, but got long because the market told me to. I got late on that one, right? Got in here, got stopped out on the longs. Okay, great. Stopped out, right? Played off this wide range bar below VWAP. We already chatted about that. It's all recorded. You can maybe rewind it. I'm not going to repeat it. Got long put, bearish, TP'd some. Now we pulled back, right? We pulled back. Okay. And this is the pullback phase, right? And then now we just made a new lower low. Now we're coming down into kind of the demand zone from yesterday. I don't even want to talk about. It's just kind of chop, right? Chop. But we have some levels here. Intermediate level here. Well, I shouldn't even say intermediate. This is a 2-minute time frame. This is very small. Okay. But we just made a new low. Let me get back on track here. So we just made a new low. TP. Now originally our stop loss on these puts were what would be up here on price, because puts, you want the stock to go down, but if it goes up, you're on the wrong side, so stop loss would be above. Okay. Originally, stop loss was what? 60 cents after you got in this at $1 or 98 cents, whatever your fill was, 94, 95, 96, whatever, maybe $1 or $2, whatever. Okay, TP'd some. Okay. Now the market, we were in this, it made a move, it pulled back, right? And then it made another move here, new low. So could we trail our stop? We got in here originally, it was, up here playing that wide range bar. Okay, now we made a move where we TP'd. Trade management, right? Held. Stop loss still original spot. We did a pullback. Then we just did another round of TP. And you can see how this is like a very grind trade because it's counter trend overall in higher time frames. Okay. Now, in regard to risk management, let's move this over here. Or trade management, I should say. Well, trading and risk management, right? Impulse, we had a correction, right? Even though it's not taking out new lows or anything like that. But could we move our stop loss originally from here and trail it to here now? The answer would be indeed yes, right? To trail, right? Because we made a new low, right? Now we could expect, like, let's say we had a crystal ball, we knew it can go on. I'm not sure if it's going to be like this, kind of like on a trend day, where we have this would be the correctional. wave here, segment, what you're getting right now. All right, now we just trail our stop. You can trail our stop on the new segment. So this would be the correctional wave. You can potentially add into this area here, or take negative CFGs coming back out here. Of course, naturally or selfishly so, we want this to make a new potential. I don't know if it's going to work out like this. Okay, but I'm just giving you some management style here, right? So expect some kind of, especially because we're entering, of course, everyone's like, oh, there's demand here, right? Demand here, right? Indeed, right? Just what do we do? We have to buy in demand, so we just bought to cover from shorts. So we're doing that. Bought to cover from shorts, right? We bought, all right? We bought to cover. Okay, yeah, we bought the put, we sold the put to get out, but a bought put is a bearish trade, right? So shorts, bought put is short, being bearish. So we got to get out of those, right? So we bought to cover, in demand, got out of some of those puts, right? Pull back imminent. All right, there's our daily view up. There's our weekly view up. There's our monthly view up. You can see they're all kind of hanging out here. Let me know it's more rangy as well. All right, on the pullback segment, if this gets taken out, this segment here, back above VWAP, going to get stopped out of the short. Okay? Get stopped out of the short. All right, got a stop loss trailed now, right? So I'll bring it from here to here. Does that make sense? And yeah, somebody's asking about internals. Yeah, that's what this bearish play is. I would say it's a sketchy one, y'all. Right? It's a sketchy one for sure. Why overall bull market still overall? We had a decent little pullback yesterday, but again, nothing crazy on the monthlies or the weeklies. Nice little daily pullback. Tesla just got stopped out. Did it? Yep. All right, Tesla's loss here. All right, make sure you get out of Tesla. Let's chop on the other side. And boom, as I'm speaking this, it's doing it. So as I'm speaking, this is doing it. So we're gonna get out of these spies, right? Choppy. And Tesla, the original setup that I was looking at in the morning, looks like what a chop. So it's got stopped out. First 1 hour bar already out. Already out and already broke out of the first 1 hour bar that just got painted at 3 minutes ago on Tesla. This is a statement bar here. SPY's trying to go. We have negative gaps above, folks. So that's exactly what I was saying. That short is not going to be as awesome as a setup. And we're in negative X territory. We get long spies. This is fun. Not really. 620 strike. I think I already have that over here. I was doing the 621 earlier. 621 is at the money. So long calls. That was the kind of swipe I was looking for. Some kind of swipe. So I can revisit this. $321 strike. I'm putting a pullback limit order in on this at 96 cents as well. Mix on lows, cumulative tick higher. Negative X above. SPX. Condor is at the 60 to 65. So y'all seeing some flipper action today on the tube. We'll see who gets a falter on that. I was working on Tesla too. You can TP some spies here. Oh, this is a massive bar that might be getting put in on SPX on the 30. Shit, that's my new Mr. Lopez out there. That is my landscaper, Mr. Lopez in the bean here. Hold on. New Pez. Mark. I think that's Mark Wahlberg, my guy. Tesla above 305. I was fixing to get long that, and then the SPX would call my name, but that follow through is kind of intense. And similarly to what I was playing on the SPYs and the ES, that wide range bar was a statement right there, and it happened right at the 1 hour bar, close 3 minutes in. So yeah, above 305. I still try to want to work on a little bit of some pullbacks here, but it's going. It's going. Now be careful, just chasing Tesla too much, but you can work on it, right? Whereas, what was the original 307.5, right? Was the original call I was looking for. That's going for 495 right now. Since we're making new highs already on it, if you want to work on a little lower delta right now, just in the event that it pulls back, like on a 1 minute, 2 minute guy, 1 minute, 2 minute time frame, whatever, 5 minute time frame, small pullback. I wouldn't want to be too far away from like the 310s, however, in terms of strike prices. Sure, just pull the trigger on that one there because that's gonna fall through already there. Try not to chase and get trapped yourself. You can even wait for a very small intermediate pullback. But right now it's in TP mode. No, not the same guy as NC. That NC landscaper was awesome. And Tesla TP. Long call. It's already going, gunning. That 307.5. See, I already have this pinned in the since the morning. The 307.5. This is the original one that I kind of wanted. Then I waited on that flush lower. I got this long put, and then this thing to give us that wide range bar there. So should already be a buck up on these. So you gotta wait. You can always put a pullback order in because I would already. This is where we should be in right here, similarly to what I was doing in like the spies, right? So we gotta wait now. So we got pullback. Let's see if I put a pullback order here. 420, nice. And this is the 307.5 call on Tesla. $420 premium. I re-entered into some more SPY. It's choppy. It's choppy, folks. 62.80s. Yesterday's high. This is chop. Chop, chop. All right, folks. Extremely choppy. I might have to go into selling credit mode myself. So JSP, careful trading today. As far as directional trades, I've already did once, twice. This would be 3 times here directional. Not much going here. Just trying to control my risk as much as possible. But careful day trading today, right? I'm not going to continue to play the long short game here. So we get these out. If you want to take a picture of this real quick, if you want to get that real quick and get that in. And you didn't really miss much, Mason. You're all good. Really didn't miss that much. Right. Tesla, if we close above that 200 period moving average here, this thing, I know a lot of algos will be going off. Wanted to check this squeeze for y'all, folks. Damn, next week 314 has a massive sold call wall. 305's kind of went away, so it's not much of a squeeze here as much as it was in the morning. JP Morgan down a ton. Yeah, I mean it's down. You got to think it just made new all-time highs, right? So, down 3% off the all-time highs. It's coming back down into like if you wanted to get there goes what is it the Tesla long call just got filled 420. That was a 307 half, right? Tesla. Spies are a nightmare right now. Pull a fade view up on that. I want to see. I'd want to see fade view up get taken out. But JP Morgan, yes, like it's okay. It's down off. It's down off the all-time highs, right? But remember, folks, if I look at the monthly and the weekly time frame, are we still in an uptrend or a downtrend on the monthly and the weekly? So we're pulling back down. So what makes more sense? Trying to trying to grab this short. Trying to grab a short, or is it better like, hey man, this is beautiful. Come down into some demand. Right? Does that concept make sense? Right? I try to prevent people as much as I possibly could. Anybody who's willing to listen, I've been doing this for quite some time. Where a lot of people are like, should we short JP Morgan up at the all-time highs? Netflix, Nvidia, whatever. Broadcom. I'm like, yeah, be careful with that because we're probably gonna pop a new high. It's gonna be hard to sell short that. Of course, one day, 1 week we're gonna have a nice drop, okay, etc. So one day here, JP Morgan's down 3%, okay, but it's up. I don't even want to pull from here to here, right? It's up off of the April lows up to here massively, right? So it's giving back a little bit, all good. But the point that I'm trying to make is this is going to potentially give you the opportunity where instead of trying to short one of the biggest, strongest companies, biggest banks on the planet, in the U.S. at least, okay, try to short that thing, right? And even though, yeah, we move down, okay, but pull back down and try to work on building a long entry, so in proper locations, okay, so you can be trading with the overall trend, right? All right, right. Does that make sense? And that's something that is super important to understand in terms of content, in terms of markets. Where I'm okay with like missing this short here because I'm sure what happened here. Like what happened here, right? What about this red bar right here, where JP Morgan might have been down 1% or 2, that finished the doji, then new high, right? So of course today we get the gap down, follow through, lower. There was the mean reversion 20p moving average. Okay, we get impulse basing impulse. We got weekly demand down in here, right? So right, I just wanted to put that into some context. Man, this market's just choppy today, folks. Choppy. So just trader beware. Trader beware. All right. It's just spies are just a nightmare at the moment. It's just chop and chop, 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 chop. All right. So there's Tesla. Mr. Blue, why is folks? Why? Look at the chart. I can give you one time frame of why the dollar is pausing at the moment. What color do you see down here? And again, is it exploding? It's up, folks. Dollar 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. For 5 months, dollar has been getting what? This is a monthly time frame. For 5 months, dollar, this is dollar index, right? Has been getting cooked down. I've been telling y'all, get long euro, get long pound, short dollar, blah, 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 blah. Okay. But now why is it exploding? Well, we have what? Impulse basing what type of level of demand do we have right here? We have a monthly level of demand right here, right? Does that make sense? All right. Now, is this going to change the trend of the is this going to change the trend of the dollar? We're up like 1 or 2 days. We're up 1 or 2 days off of 5-6 months, right? We're up 1 or 2 days decently, right? A couple days ago last week, inside bar break, okay? We're up, right? Is this an explosion? Is this an explosion, or is this just a pullback that is needed for markets to jive and move? Right? Does that make sense? And so does it make sense if we made it equal to or new lower low down into a monthly level of demand? This has been sitting here forever for my Phantoms members, right? So I said, if we get down to call it the 96, 97, 95 handle, okay, there goes the monthly level of demand, proximal level right there, right? Okay. and I zoomed in, and here's a daily drop base rally inside of the monthly, right? And so we came right down into this area right here. It's just demand. It's just right. Like look at your charts, folks. Like why why is it going up? It probably hit a level of demand, right? And the higher time frame level of demand is going to be more important. Okay, that's a big one right there. That's an impulse basing. Last time price was here. This is a monthly impulse three range bar here. Okay, massive explosion. That's a massive rally there. So of course, right? And so like, why did for one, two, right? Is it any surprise that this level got taken out with this year? Right? This is a monthly time frame. For years, the dollar's been range. There goes our fakey breaky right up there. I was mentioning. Then we have low, high. Okay, one, two, right? We took this out with this with everything that's been going on in the backdrop of right, because this level has been tested multiple times, so the demand has been absorbed. And the sellers just took over that, absorbing that. And then we went down to the freshest level down here of monthly demand impulse, basic impulse. We're taking a bounce off that right now. Right now, as we broke this level of demand, last month's high is up here. Would it make sense, people up here, where we have a break, right? We have a break. This could be a retest at or around last month's high. Give me a yes or no. Give me a yes or no on that. So as we're coming up off of this, long dollar is still going to be a tough trade because you're going against the grain, if you will, but we could continue to fade. Now, as we get up into this area here, what should we be doing as dollar is approaching this level up here? What should we be doing up here? Bearish dollar plays. Bullish, stronger currencies. Okay, and mainly those ones are going to be right now still Swissy, the euro, and GBP still up there in terms of strength. It's lowering though. Right. So hopefully that makes sense. But folks, like when you see this, right? When you see this, what? Impulse, you see these red bars. Right now, I'm just drawing a quick, very simple lower low, low high sequence of events here, right? As you're trading and investing, no matter what, as you start to make an impulse, then we correct, right? And we make a new impulse low, then we correct, then make a new impulse low, and you start to see red bar. You see all these red bars? And now we're making a new low segment. I'm on a daily time frame. Right now with all these red bars. What time frame should I get reference from? If I'm on a daily time frame, lower low, low high, do I go below a daily time frame to get reference on what is prices coming down? As we're making new lows, okay, I have to look down and left to see what we're coming down into. But if I'm on a daily time frame right now, I'm going to be looking up on the higher time frame, being the weekly and the monthly. Right? Does that make sense? To get reference and perspective and context and location, you go up on the time frame. So when I start to see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8+ days, red bar down on the daily, making a new segment lower low, I got to look down and left to see what that price is coming down into, right? And I'm going to be going on the higher time frames, being the weekly and the monthly. Now, if I see a monthly level of demand, okay, this is where we have a battle of time frames, right? We have a lower low, lower high sequence of events on daily, red bar down. We're coming into a massive level of demand on the monthly time frame where price exploded massively to the upside. We have an impulse, basic impulse on the monthly. We're only 1 to 3 candles here, okay? Impulse move, 1 to 3 candles on the monthly, big impulse move higher here, okay? That is at least at a minimum probability-wise to give us the correctional move on the daily time frame, right? Does that make sense? So it's not exploding up. It's having a relief rally because it needs to do that, right? The markets need to correct, okay? Build up some more, right? Build up some more. You've got some counter trend longs, I'm sure, counter trend longs coming in to play. If they're doing it the right way, they have permission to do so here because we have a monthly level. Okay, I talk a lot about this in the classes. I gotta go talk to my new landscaper here outside there. But hopefully that makes sense, right? Now this rally up, okay. If you've been dying to get short dollar, right? We're not quite at a level yet, right? We want to come higher up, closer into the level of control. Maybe I'll go to like a 4 hour here to sift through. Well, first of all, I should be on the high time frames, sift out some weekly highs. All right, so we're already above last week's high. The other prior week high is up here, which I already have mapped out. I think this is also June's high. So this area is going to be extremely important. I'll make this orange, right? So on the weekly and the daily, it would have to take out this whole pivot way up here. Take out last month's high for a trend structure to change. So anything from this low into this is going to be all corrective structure. Okay, it's going to be all corrective structure in the context of a downtrend. So if you've been dying to get, short dollar or long other stronger plays, Swissy, so on and so forth, as dollar rallies up into supply, okay, this is going to be the area location, okay, to book in some dollar shorts, other currencies that are stronger, bearish, okay, and then you'd be right, you'd be selling short into levels of supply in the context of an overall downtrend. Okay. Now, if you're advanced, there's something called long book and short book, where you would have to have separate accounts. Where you're still, where I do this in Forex, where, I don't even want to let go of my GBP USD long trade in my long book Forex account because I'm up like 700 pips, right? Because I've been working on that for months, right? But so I don't want to get all out, but dollar is looking like it wants to pull back more, right? So if I wanted to, but I don't want to get out of my long to get short. Right. So in typically another account, as I'm heavily taking profit in my longs, but I'm still going to be in, okay, I can take what's called a front side entry short. Dollar would need to be at a demand level. Okay, it'll be in a separate account. Okay, you can make a separate account, sub account in Oanda very easy, and it'll be connected to your main account. And then I could potentially take a counter trend short with not touching my long setup that is up 700 pips from like 2 months ago, what have you. Okay. That's a concept that's a lot more advanced, and I talk a little bit more with more due time. If you kind of got some stuff from that, great. If not, if it's a little bit over your head, it typically would be because it's not a basic concept. I gotta run though, folks. Apple long, I don't know. That's a tough one. It's breaking the mother bar on the weekly and on the weekly. I want to make sure. That one's going to be a little tough because if this market does overall, like the SPX and the Qs do want to come back and pull back a little bit more deeper, that's going to heavily weight on Apple a little bit there. But it's trying to break out outside of that mother bar of the weeklies and sustain above May's high. So if we can sustain above that, that could potentially give us some fall through there. It's been boiling for a long time. Just watch out for a fakey breaky. So I would want to see sustained closes. In other words, like yesterday, so we have like May high, June high too, right? Hovering at around, give or take, around here. So, we kind of broke, whoops, put a weekly here. Time frames are all messed up. There you go, got it back. So just this massive sideways. This is months, I should say, months. Gray box. Right? So we poked above it yesterday. Could not close above that. All right, so they already fakey breaking one time up here. So this could be a bit of a low range base on the 60 for the pop. So if you want to work on that, you could potentially have stop loss here. I just dropped down to 60 because I wouldn't want you to be buying the highs up here. You'd be on the pullback phase here, and then of course you'd be in the camp of go Apple long, breakout. It's just we need closes above here. All right, some people got slammed yesterday because we gapped up. We swiped out. This was once a green bar. Everybody was buying that, got slammed, and it just followed through lower. So now we're closer to intermediate demand. So this is a thesis there. The question is it going to is it actually going to have some power to actually break out to the upside here? That's the question, the ultimate question. All right, but just play the setup. You got an area location here, stop loss here, kind of coming out of that already. So if you where's daily view up? Don't get too far away from daily view up today. In trading, just go through your multiple time frame analysis and look at the chart. And don't be scared. Like, stop thinking. I'm not saying y'all doing this, right? I'm not like talking like yelling at Mark here. I'm just saying, just overall in general, right? The charts will tell you what to do. The charts will tell you what to do. And pick your spots. Pick your demand, pick your supply, pick your spots. Higher time frame being the key condition. If Mark takes this long and he gets stopped out, he can't be too upset about that because Apple is close. If I were to ask you all to be closer to the upper range or closer to the lower range, we're closer to the upper range. So if this is going to continue to range, this is all going to up here in this upper range is all going to be fluff to trap longs, build shorts in the upper range. This is considered the low range. Right now, we are closer to the upper range. But Mark's like, hey, what if we could break out? Okay. If he is in the breakout camp, okay, well, he's pulled back in the intermediate. He is working on this, and he would want these accumulation shorts to get what? Absorbed, and potentially make a new high, right? But this could be a fakey breaky trap. He already did come back mid-range and get back down low range. Right? And the range game plays all over, right? The worst location here is kind of grossly everything kind of in the middle here. All right, so this is a setup that Mark is looking to do here potentially, where he's like, you know what, this thing, I like this. I like last week's close, positive COG, took out the mother bar here, right? Now we did, and he's good here too, potentially here, because it already kind of sifted through and absorbed some of the supply above here, pulled back, there's some buyers coming in. So that's it. He just has a thesis. He has a trading setup. He can explain it. Okay, either it's going to hold this upper third range, it can pull back into demand. We're going to pop this out, all right, and squeeze out anybody who's still remains short over here on that fakey breaky. Now they're going to start to get get taken out, and we could potentially flush higher. Maybe go up into the 220, 219 handle. I'll give or take up here. Okay, on the weekly January low retest over here. Okay, but it might not work out. Where it could be right, and then he has a stop loss, right? If it rallies up, then we have some supply upper range. That was the liquidity fish to the upside here. Now we're right trapping some bulls. Okay, on the upper third range. Okay, as you rally up here, that could still be the case. Okay, or grab some supply. Okay, and then play the range game, come back down in the middle, and his would be low range here. So he has some kind of thesis here. Don't get me wrong. All right, but the quality is low just because of the condition that Apple has been showcasing. Okay, that Apple has been showcasing. All right, folks, I gotta go jump up before I miss this this thing here. I'm not playing the long short game no more. So took some trades. I flipped on S&P 3 times. That's my last flip. Tesla took a loss. Working on a little bit of a long here from 420 on the 307.5 strike. Those are up a little bit. No big deal. Okay, I just stopped myself out on this, right? I'm just still remaining long here. I'm not playing this long short game here. I'm leaning a little more bullish on this just for the day, and see if we can attack this positive gex here. Got some swings that are working out pretty decent. Carvana pulled back a little bit on us, if you're in that one. But yesterday was a decent day. Don't get me wrong. Today's a little odd, so just keep your poker chips and your cards tight. We are negative gex a little bit above here, so we got to get above this 62.35 sneaky little positive gamma node. If we get above that on SPX, call it 62.35, 62.37, call it 37. We could potentially continue to go on a little bit of a flush higher. But right now, like I said, there's not a lot of fall through either way, so don't get chopped up. Believe me, there's a lot better, simpler trading setups and trading days than this. All right, sometimes there's days where you can't even keep up because there's so much. That is absolutely not the case. today. All right, so if you want to learn a little bit more about this, TradePhantoms.com. I myself, Mr. Blue here. If you click on register, there is a link that you could potentially get emailed to. You put your name in the email, register. Mr. Black, Mr. Green will host about a 90-minute, give or take, an hour and a half. Here's the agenda. Kind of workshop, they call it, July 10th on Thursday, right? 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So you get some time there. And there's the agenda. Y'all can read that. Stocks, futures, forex, options, all assets, income trading, short-term trading, scalping, day trading, right? All the way down, all the way up to, up to wealth management, long-term, swing trading, day trading, all types of trading, right? So kind of one-stop shop for all. Okay. And I'll see some of y'all later in the sessions. And then tomorrow morning, God willing, live trade room opened up. And let's rip some tape, carpe diem, see whatever's happening. Hopefully it's a little bit more of a better opening than today. We'll take it as it comes. Blue out. God bless. Take care. Trade safe. Until next time.